Monaco Pizza presents STP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
So Steve Dangle
spent
an entire day on the ice with Marc Savard yesterday.
It was
Did
great.
you ever think in your entire life that this would be what you would do?
No,
Yeah.
it was very silly. So I was like jokingly referring to him as dad and stuff because he was my hockey dad on the ice. But then like in between takes, we had time to kill. And so I just like backed up a bit and got a puck and we just started passing the puck back and forth.
No, that's
playing
not cool
catch.
at all.
just passing the puck around with Marc Savard.
Playing catch with dad.
And what's amazing is, so, like, I don't understand. There's so many hockey things where I'm like, I don't understand how you do that. That's amazing. That's wizardry. Like, stopping on your inside edge. I was just talking about with Jesse. The way, like, when you're going forward and you lean back and somehow... how do you do that? I don't understand.
What do you mean when you're... That's how you're shifting your energy. It keeps your... it's the balance.
On one foot.
Oh, yeah.
On one foot, on your back foot.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you do that yet. I'm still
You'll
not
get there.
I'm not there. But another thing is, like, when I see a saucer pass, I'm just like, okay, you're fully a wizard. Like, I don't know how that happens. And I know that's Marc Savard's whole thing, is he loves saucer passes. And so I just go, how do you do that? It's just like, oh, have it on the toe of your stick, bring it to your heel. First try, I'm like, wow, I can do magic. It was awesome. I can't wait for you guys to see it.
So what?
I'm
what
so
can you
sore
say?
and so tired. I haven't asked anyone that question, so I'm going to go ahead and say nothing.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, no, I was on the ice with Marc Savard for 6 hours.
Is it a Sportsnet video? Or is it
It's a
another
Sportsnet thing, related thing. Yes.
Caprice...
was there.
Caprice, was styling it. She didn't tell me until like the day before. She's like, "Oh,
Me neither.
I'm doing the styling for the thing Steve's doing tomorrow." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
really?"
And she goes, yeah, see you at Scotiabank Arena. And I go, Pond. Scotiabank Pond. See you there. So who knows? Maybe I got her to go to the right place.
I hope you did. I hope you did.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. That was a very, very good time.
Where is Scotiabank Pond?
Like Downsview? Right by York University.
That would have been the exact opposite way for her.
Yes, it would
That's
be.
really funny. So the other thing that happened this week, before we get into everything that happened,
Everything.
is that you were featured in a very, very funny article written by Sean Fitzgerald of The Athletic. And I think he perfectly characterized Iggy throughout the whole thing. Especially when Iggy gets bored and leaves your room because you're telling the same story again.
Iggy's a wonderful dog, first of all. But Sean is such an amazing writer.
Yeah.
He's so good. And I liked him before he said nice things about me, I remember one time I was reading something of his, and I got about halfway through, and I'm like, this is about fencing. Why do I care? but he knows how to make you care about any and all subjects, and that was one of the most fascinating things about the article Sean wrote. Was you got a bunch of people who were like, this is great and I like Steve, and then you got a bunch of people like, I hate Steve just entirely, and then there was this group of people that bonded over the fact that, you know what, I don't like him very much, but I guess I respect him.
Or I'm happy for him.
Yeah, you know what? Not for me. I think he's a piece of crap, but good for him.
That's like...
And I'm like, man, that's like the nicest thing you can say on the internet.
It's like the music of Maroon 5. Not for me, but I respect that they are very successful. I don't think they're crap, but I think, the music's just not for me.
You never like Songs for Jane, Adam?
Oh, their first album was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. All right, give them the first album for sure.
Gotta give everyone their first album.
Is it possible to get numbers on the article? Like, is this the most read Athletic article ever?
No, it's not.
I think the Muzzin trade might have been. They actually said that.
Yeah, dude, I got bumped.
The Muzzin trade was closing in, according to James, within 24 hours on the most read article of all time on The Athletic.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But Steve's article came out after, so it probably topped the Muzzin trade.
Like, I might have the best hockey article that's, like, not even about hockey.
Whoa.
Whoa. Yeah, and he interviewed you, Justin Fisher.
I thought Justin's story was the best. About
I forgot about that.
How you could just, like, you could go somewhere with you, and then you would just walk away with other people that said hi to you and just not come back.
I'm
and
just
you're so right about that. Like, it's 100% what can happen.
I'm embarrassed.
Who did I come with?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to everyone I've ever done that to, namely Adam and Justin. Jesse doesn't care.
Jesse doesn't. Yeah, no. Jesse'd be like, all right.
Jesse, who's wearing a New England Patriots flag as a cape.
Big day tomorrow. Super Bowl Sunday.
Go LA
About to
team.
collect Super Bowl number 6 for Tom Brady.
You know,
Wow, is it?
It's a good time.
there are
Damn.
people out there actually making the argument. This is the 9th Super Bowl he's been to, right? This will be the 9th?
8.
I want to say 8th.
Okay.
Yeah.
8. Yeah.
Even if they say if he loses, like, yeah, he's won 5, but he
No,
lost.
this will be 9.
This will be the 9th, right?
5 wins,
4 losses.
3 losses.
3 losses. Okay.
So
yeah.
this will be
so
9.
if he loses tomorrow,
That's
if he loses tomorrow, there are going to be people who go, yeah, but Joe Montana went to 4 Super Bowls and won them all, but he only went to 4 Super Bowls. And people are like, and that's the true GOAT. And to me, I'm like, nah, man, you went to 9 fucking championships.
no. He went to less than half of the championship games that Tom Brady did. What GOAT? You're not even on the same farm. 9 versus 4. I don't know many football things, but I know 9 is more than twice the size of 4. How dare anybody? Also, go Rams.
Will Tom Brady pass Henri Richard as the greatest champion of all time? Henri Richard is the greatest champion of all time. 11 Stanley Cups. Henri Richard is the champion.
There was 6 teams.
Doesn't matter.
Nope.
It does
The
a
number
little.
is the number, Jesse.
No,
The number's
it
the
does
number.
matter.
Not the whole time. Actually, he was in the. I think he was on the 70s Canadians too. When there was double the teams, so
There's
16.
12.
Yeah.
Or was it 12? Yeah, 12, and then they added 4
There's-
in
is
that how
the
that
mid
works? I
70s,
don't
something
know.
like that. 18. I don't know.
There were as many teams as there are letters in pocket for the Pocket Rocket.
Whoa.
Yeah, there's my analysis.
What?
I'm very tired.
I don't
Jesse.
think. Does that even work?
No,
Just-
it doesn't.
I'm so
it
tired.
doesn't. Don't even ask if that works. You know it doesn't. Trust your guts. But by the way, like the Super Bowl is interesting. Like I have to be honest. I love rooting for the young guns and that sort of thing. But I definitely think that game's going to be over by halftime tomorrow. By the time Maroon 5 takes the stage and refuses to answer questions about why they're there.
Wait, is that a thing?
Yeah, they refused to do a press conference this week.
Oh, I didn't. I was like, why is Adam bringing up Maroon 5?
Yeah,
we'll never know. Okay.
They refused to do a press conference this week, except for with CBS, who's obviously running it. So, because of all the social issues surrounding the Super Bowl with Colin Kaepernick and all of that.
okay.
Like Cardi B pulled out of doing it. I think Travis Scott did it, but he talked to Colin Kaepernick beforehand, and Maroon 5 just doesn't want to be asked about it, so they just straight up refused to do a press conference. beforehand.
Okay.
Which
They asked Cardi B to do the Super Bowl halftime show?
Yeah.
Damn
She
it, that
actually-
would have been fun.
They interviewed her and said, like I guess she was going to go on with Maroon 5 because she's got a song featuring with them.
Oh. Okay.
Anyway, yeah, because Maroon 5 is going to be the lead artist on it. But yeah, it's just a.
They always bring out some surprise. Some, random, we're going to bring out, I don't know, I was trying to think of a one-hit wonder. Chumbawamba. I don't know.
It's gonna be Christina Aguilera. She's gonna come out and do moves like that.
Oh yeah, probably.
That's what I
I wonder what the prop bets are on that. Like, I bet her name.
I think the odds
probably.
are pretty low or high. They would be pretty high that she comes
And
out.
she's
That's an easy bet.
yeah.
She's revealed in one of those big red chairs that spins around. Guys, let me work for the Super Bowl. I'm going to make
Anyway,
it amazing.
I think that game's going to be over by half.
How could you say that about the Super Bowl?
Because I've seen enough Super Bowls. Super Bowl is usually not the best game.
No, I know, but the Patriots came back from what was it, 60 points down or whatever?
Well, it was like 25 points, but
400.
60, 400,
Yeah, this is the lower.
Against the
420,
Falcons.
420
One
points
game
down.
though. Usually the AFC and NFC championships are the best.
All the sample size I need.
How
Happened
did,
once.
I really want the St. Louis Rams or St. Louis LA Rams to win, but they won't.
How did Sean interview Sasky for the article? And Are You Here to See Me didn't come up.
Oh, I know. Oh, Sasky hates that though.
Sasky hates that so genuinely and passionately.
Why?
Sasky is mentioned in the book and not that story.
What?
You didn't write the story in the book?
No, well, first of all, I figured like everyone knows that story, and also I asked her directly. I go,
You
Sasky.
didn't put that in the book?
I go, Sasky. Would you like that to be in the? No.
It's your
not
book,
up
not
to
her
her.
book.
I know, but I'm a pal. Adam, think of how good the rest of the book is. It's so good, by the way. So
I have
good.
a problem with this.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I have a genuine issue with this.
I mentioned Jesse as little as possible.
Good?
Yeah, I know we don't get mentioned till like the last chapter, I don't think.
Last page.
Not the last chapter.
You said it, you made it sound like that.
No, I said they
You're like, I
divided
spent
it.
40 years on Leafs TV and on the podcast.
Yeah, for some reason, your time at the zoo is like half the book.
Which I
It's
understand.
important.
No, I don't.
I get
it's
the
not
understand.
about your time at the zoo.
You spent more time here than you spent at the zoo.
In the
and yet
last-
there's
No,
gonna be
I
more
didn't.
chapters.
Nope, still not there yet.
How long did you spend at the zoo?
I worked 7 out of the 8 summers between 2005 and 2012.
Okay, we haven't done
So
it.
I still haven't done the podcast as long as I was at the zoo.
Okay. So, because we're in June, I think it's year 6, isn't it?
Yeah.
Counter argument.
Yeah.
Yeah, 13 to 19. Yeah, year 6.
Counter argument. In the last, like, 10 months, you've done more interesting things through this podcast and Sportsnet than half of the book.
Yeah,
Than
I
half of
know.
what's in
That's,
the
yeah.
That'll be in the next book.
book. Okay.
One of my favorite radio DJs.
I think you
from
should have put it
England.
in this book.
No.
One of my favorite radio
No,
DJs from England just
it's
called.
so much better this way.
He had his name's Chris Moyles, and he had a first book come out, and then he could just called his second book the difficult second book because he didn't know what else to talk about. They're like, we want another one, and he's like, okay.
I'll try.
So he tried, and it was actually really good. But
I definitely, I've actually been thinking about what would go in the second book, but maybe
I
I'll
don't
give
know,
it a
stories
sec.
about the podcast, man.
Yeah.
Is you hanging out with Kyle Dubas as sick kids in the book?
You'll have to buy it.
Did it make the last
You'll
page?
have to buy it.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's all for me. By the way, I know with Cal Davis and Sick Kids. It was really, really cool. Okay, bye.
This book is entirely about me loving the Leafs, and I barely mentioned that I'm now good friends with the GM.
But now this is, first of all, no. I appreciate that, but no. Second of all, that was a struggle. That was a genuine struggle. Like, I've done some really cool things in, like, the past year.
Uh-huh.
But I've documented them really well. Like the Sick Kids thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I documented the whole thing. There's footage. Can't put footage in a book. You can paint a picture. And you can do, like, behind-the-scenes stuff. But a lot of the book is like stuff I intentionally kept secret or just never got around to telling the story. Or like I have like a hindsight perspective on it now. So I don't have hindsight perspective on something I did 6 months ago. You know what I mean? Or
Okay.
not enough.
Fair.
But there are some things where I'm like, okay, this will read really interesting one day. You know, but it also got to a point, Jesse, where I had to submit the book. The book is, by the way, it is going to be like in my possession, done in like less than 2 weeks.
Did you get the spelling error fixed? The one you found during audio recording?
Yeah, so we found six or seven very minor things, but no, they're going to be in the first 5,000 copies of the book. It's too late.
That'll be a collector's item.
Yeah.
An Easter egg.
Yeah.
Well, and hopefully we sell more than 5,000 copies, and we can print out the good version of
So
the
that
book.
will be the collector's edition. Is the second round.
Oh my god!
You know what's
man.
funny is that
This has been so hard. I'm so tired.
you have single-handedly turned me off ever trying to write a book. Holy crap! It's been like total.
Dude, 2 years. It takes forever. Forever. Like, whenever I hear about those authors who, what is it? They write like 3 or 4 books in a year. What are you, nuts? Like, and they like.
Well, they do that though.
They do, and that's all they do.
Yeah, that's their job.
Yeah.
They're not also have a YouTube channel and Sportsnet contract and then also try and write a book.
Now, remember, the initial pitch from ECW Press, my publisher, was for a trade tree book. I would have, you know, what would you do on the Steve Dangle eulogy podcast?
What do you mean?
Well, I'd just be dead. I wouldn't have survived the process. I
Would
wouldn't
that be
have,
easier?
well, yeah, there's 2 mics instead of 1, or instead of 3.
The trade tree.
Absolutely not.
No?
No, because it'd be so much research. And also, like, Sportsnet owns the idea of trade trees too, so no, it would have been
call them trade roots.
Messy.
Yeah.
I should have. Yeah. Trade stories.
Trade ripples.
I saw it
Trade
on,
leaves.
Wait.
on our NHL, on NHL's Reddit.
Yeah.
Somebody did a trade tree, but they called it something else. I was like, this is just a trade tree. Because when the Edmonton trade happened, I guess the tree ended. It like started with like Messier.
And then down to Ryan Spooner.
Yeah, and down to Ryan Spooner.
And that's where it ended?
And that's where it ended.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then they didn't call it trade tree. They called it something along the lines. I was like,
yeah, but I didn't invent that.
Yeah.
Like,
but it was NHL Reddit, and it was kind of the same concept. I was like, this is just
I wonder where they got the idea.
Yeah.
Nah. Well, and like someone did like a Leafs prospect pyramid recently, and someone's like, credit Steve Dangle. And I'm like, no, I put that concept into the world because I really liked it. Use it now. Use it now. Like, it's one of the only smart things I've ever done. Take that. That's now the world's. That now belongs to the world.
You know, Steve, I would call that the ultimate Canadian move. To be so giving.
Yes.
True North strong.
I'm leaving the studio.
True North strong and bacony is what I would say. Made with, like Steve Dangle, organic Italian tomato sauce, a little Canadian back bacon, crumbled bacon, pepperoni, sautéed mushrooms, mozzarella, and a little cheddar, because who doesn't like things cheesy?
Oh, Adam.
You can order your very own Steve Dangle Ultimate Canadian Pizza at Pantego.com.
How many times is bacon in there?
One.
I counted at least 4.
Well, I mean,
bacon counts.
Canadian back bacon, crumbled bacon, and then pepperoni.
Oh, okay.
But I say it's True North strong and bacony. You see.
That sounds like a true delicious pizza.
I have to tell you, I never ate mushrooms growing up, and now I'm like making up for it. I like mushrooms on pretty much anything.
I feel like that's an old man thing.
Well, it started in my early 20s. Have I been an old man since I was 20?
First of all, yes. Second of all, I'm not there yet, but all my friends are like, every summer I feel the intense pressure of, like, why don't you like mushrooms, Steve?
Oh, you still don't like them?
I'll tolerate them.
Do you like them sautéed? A little butter?
I can, oh yeah.
Oregano?
No, I can do that. In the tin foil with, like, some lemon.
Yeah. Oh.
On the barbecue. I can definitely do that. But, like, you know those giant fist-sized mushrooms that people will just like season and eat and be like, delicious fist-sized mushroom.
Portobello.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fist-sized mushroom. No,
That's what they call them.
I'm not there yet. I'm not mature enough.
That's what they call them at Longos.
Yeah.
The fist-sized session.
The punch room. That's what they call it. The punch room.
In the States, that's literally like the only vegan thing on a menu you can get. It's a portobello burger. And it's like, it's just two pieces of bread and a piece of mushroom in between. That's a burger.
Order that?
Vegans. There's lots of them. Now, and they also have a mushroom steak, which is a portobello mushroom without the buns.
It's not steak.
Not a steak.
It's just a giant mushroom.
It's just a mushroom.
I have a vegan friend who's like, I really wish vegan food would get away from trying to be normal food.
Yeah.
He's like, it's vegan. Yeah. Just let it be vegan on its own.
Yes.
How about this is a delicious mushroom?
Yes.
Look at all the great things we put on this mushroom. It's delicious.
I had vegan gelato. It was delicious.
The worst thing in the world is the fake vegan actual food. So like chicken fingers, but vegan, and nothing in
like
there.
Tofu, so it's like
yeah, and it just know it's not the same thing.
Back when I was helping out during the playoff shows for Hockey Night in Canada, George Strombolopoulos brought in vegan mac and cheese. And I'm just looking at it like, what is this made of? And it was like cashews and
See, to be fair, I do like vegan cheese. Vegan cheese
it's
is
made
really
of cashews.
good. Yeah.
It's delicious.
It was all right, but you go in, don't call it friggin' mac and cheese, because I went in, your eyes read, or your ears hear, and then your mouth goes, got it. No, it's cashews, and it is delicious in its own right. But it wasn't what I expected. So it began with disappointment.
I had vegan fondue on Sunday.
What is that?
It was cashew cheese. It was unbelievable.
It would be good. It's also like, It's also like a lot better for you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the thing.
Canada, I have fondue for the health benefits.
Canada just kicked the dairy basically off its food pyramid because I don't know if you know the history, but basically the dairy farmers of Canada way back in the day when they first made the food
listen
pyramid,
to our show, by the way.
Do they?
They do.
What? Well, the story goes anyway. Do they actually?
We've met them. Oh wait, no. Adam had to leave early for the game. We met them
The dairy
at
farmers
the
of
rec
Canada?
room. Yeah, remember? He's like, there were two guys.
Yeah,
Who were literally like, shout out the dairy farmers of Canada, and I always forget. So shout out the dairy farmers of Canada. Go ahead, Adam. Why
Anyway,
don't they feed cities?
So back in the day,
go ahead, Adam.
back in the day, it's a true story, or at least this is what has been peddled is that they.
Wow.
This is
So you're lying,
no.
farmers.
Basically,
Every spring you plant lies and harvest them in autumn.
grain and dairy, the Canadian interests in those products, which is huge, huge in our farming communities, bought their way onto the Canada Food Guide and said, you better put us on this, otherwise we're going to withdraw support from you, Mr. Politician.
Oh.
And
the big
so that's
farm
why,
lobby.
That's why. Are you kidding me?
No, I know,
The
but it just
huge farm
it
lobby.
sounds ridiculous.
So that's
But it
why
is a
when
thing.
we grew up with a food guide, which had dairy at the base and grain at the base, as in the two most important food groups we were taught growing up is dairy and grain, which is, unfortunately, guys, objectively not true.
you should probably be eating vegetables more than dairy.
I don't hate dairy. I drink dairy every day, even though I'm slightly allergic to it, and I love cheese. But you can't tell me that it's the most important food.
I remember the pyramid as grain at the bottom for sure, and then I think it was like fruits and veggies, then dairy, then meat, and then it was like chocolate bars. And I'm like, this pyramid gets more delicious the higher you go. What are you talking about? I think I understand the pyramid. Delicious foods at the top.
What is the percentage of people who lactose and are tolerant is like really high?
Really high.
Yeah.
So
Dude,
intolerance? Yeah.
Same. Here I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I'm still
sucks.
I am for sure.
Yeah.
I just like
Lactate.
I know what my limit is. I can have like a couple slices of cheese, and then my stomach starts to go. So
That's why cashew cheese.
that's right.
I love the sheer lengths we are going to avoid talking about that piece of shit of a game last night.
I really just don't want to. Do we
It
have
was
to?
so bad.
Could I distract even more?
Yeah, please
Go,
do.
So-
Jesse. Okay.
This is what I've been doing, by the way.
Anyone who's upset right
I'm
now,
leading us away.
it's so wrong. That was bad. It was not worth talking about. And there's
know.
another game tonight, but we will talk about it. Yes.
So
Jesse.
Pantego has a chocolate cheesecake, and it's in the shape of a heart. But fun fact, it's only for a limited time only.
Wow.
So-
and it says non-GMO.
I wish it was forever, because love is forever. And $3 chocolate cheesecake should be forever.
Yes, I agree, Jesse. Hey,
That's all I wanted to say.
do we have $1 each?
We can afford it.
Let's all pitch in
$1.
and get a heart-shaped pizza.
No, chocolate cheesecake. Not pizza.
Deep dish cakes. No? Three's cake. Three's cake. Deep dish three's cake. We got it. I found it. I'm so tired.
Why are you tired?
Because, okay, Mrs. Dangle will never hear this. It's her fault. Let's just straight up go with it's her fault. She hasn't been feeling well. And last night before she went to bed, she was just talking about how she was looking forward to sleeping in on Saturday morning. And I thought,
I can't believe you're telling the story.
I don't care.
Go ahead and tell it, man.
Super husband is going to let her sleep in. And so last night I decided to make the video for that piece of shit game rather than get up early and make it before heading here for the podcast because I didn't want to rush, and also I didn't want to wake her up with the Leafs friggin' against the Red Wings. That's my impression of me. That's what I think I sound like. So I made it last night, and she was out like a light. Like a light. And she didn't wake up at all. I went to bed at 3. Because I'm super husband, she cares. Or no, because she's super wife, sorry, she cares.
Right.
So she'd be like, he's not awake yet, I'm gonna go wake him up. So I sent her a message. Hey, set my alarm for 10:30. So the plan was wake up get in the shower, and leave right away. She woke me up at 9:30.
Why?
To inform me that, oh, Steve, that's just not enough time. I couldn't possibly. No, you need an hour and a half to get ready. Mm-hmm. That's what you need. You need to. I saw literally with my own eyes that you went to bed at 3, but I'm going to wake you up now anyway.
Well, okay.
To give you a nice 90-minute head start on the day. And now I'm dead.
Well, okay. So then here's my thing. She did get you up at 9:30, correct?
Yes. Yep.
And you did get a head start on the day.
Yeah.
What time was the podcast due to start today?
Noon.
What time did you show up?
I showed up at about 1:15.
So could she be right? Maybe she was onto something, man.
No, she's not.
What would happen if you had waken up at 10? What time would you have gotten here?
12:30.
I don't know. Dude, I'm all I know is I'm dragging my ass, and I probably would have gotten everything done faster.
And isn't it a celebration tonight?
Yeah, it's her birthday dinner, so I didn't want to make a fuss about the fact that she woke me up an hour early for nothing. But
okay,
here I am.
When she wakes you up, could you not just fall back asleep in that moment?
No, I couldn't.
Oh, you don't have that switch? You're like...
Sometimes.
Okay.
It's very hit and miss.
Really?
It's very... Oh, what's better...
You are a sensitive sleeper, my friend.
What's better than waking up, going, oh, I can sleep more, and actually sleeping more, and then waking up going, I slept for another hour or 2. It's the best.
It is.
Well, I'll just dream about what that's like.
Maybe you can sleep in tomorrow.
Sounds great. Yeah, maybe.
You do have to do the video, though.
Yeah, I do.
I have a question.
What is it?
Is it time to fire Mike Babcock?
No, it's not. Okay, so here's the thing. Last night, that looked... I mean, between the All-Star break and the layoff, it just looked like a rusty team with no motivation.
Bullshit. Bullshit. Fuck all of that bullshit.
Okay.
Okay. Do you expect the Leafs to contend for a Stanley Cup?
Yes.
Do you expect the Leafs to contend for a Stanley Cup?
Expect them to win it.
Then when are we going to stop holding their damn hand? When are we going to stop holding this team's hand? It was after a long layoff. Fuck that. The Red Wings had a long layoff too. Their last game was on January 22nd against the Oilers, which means their last NHL game was before that. Get it? Because the Oilers are an NHL team. You see that little dagger I threw in there? I made fun of another team to make me feel better about the shitty team that I cheer for? Listen, let's stop holding this team's hand. They got 5 shots in the first. Not good enough. They got 5 shots in the second. Not good enough. Their power play was awful. Someone had the puck. Gives it to Matthews. Gives it to Marner. Stuffed. It's okay. They get the puck back. Someone has the puck. They give it to Matthews. Gives it to Marner. Stuffed. Someone has the puck. They give it to Matthews. He gives it to Marner. Stuffed. Stop it. What if I see what you're doing wrong? You're doing it so many ways wrong. I'm not the hockey genius that Mike Babcock is, all right? I'm just not the unflappable genius that this guy is. He just knows so much better than everyone. And I'm just getting a little bit frustrated. Someone last night, the question for the game was, do you trust that Babcock is the guy to take the team to the next level? No. That's my answer is no. Can he do it? Absolutely. Any coach can do it. Any coach can do it. You know, they catch fire, they get brilliance for like a short little stretch. Lesser coaches than Mike Babcock have won the Stanley Cup. But am I confident? Am I like, yes, that's my guy? No.
Why?
N-O period, no. Why?
Why?
They will not change. He always goes back to his same toys. The power play has been toiling for a while now, and the star player, I know we railed against this storyline for a long time, but the star player, Kasperi Kapanen's former line mate, Austin Matthews,
that was good,
is an RFA this summer, and he doesn't friggin' like the guy.
You don't think Mike Babcock likes Austin Matthews?
I think it's the other way around.
No, I don't think. I think it's the other way around. Matthews can't stand this human being.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yep, and I'm sick of this guy. I'm sick of this guy right now.
You are on the side of Austin Matthews.
Yeah. Listen, why every year, almost on schedule, do the Leafs play like shit for 6 weeks straight? What is this random run through a friggin' sewage plant Olympics that Babcock puts the team through in the heart of every winter? They ring it around the boards, Polak playing 20-plus minutes a night. And then, in one fell swoop, he's like, by the way, Komarov's in the fourth line and Martin's out of the lineup. Like, what? Why did it take you so long to see that light? And also, the success of all of that, didn't it maybe give you a clue, like, maybe I should change my mind a little bit more quickly? Like, whoever gave you that idea, maybe you should take their advice a little bit more often. Like, this human being is the Toronto Maple Leafs 10 times out of 10 should beat the Detroit Red Wings. An overtime winner from Danny DeKeyser?
His second of the year.
Second OT winner?
Second goal.
Second goal.
Nick Jensen.
Well, that's something.
Nick Jensen and Danny DeKeyser have 4 goals combined. 3 of them are against the Leafs. Like,
that's why the Leafs need to trade for Nick Jensen, so we stop scoring on them.
jeez, the Red Wings are your kryptonite, guys?
Yeah.
Well,
Here's the 4 games. Here's the 4 games. They might. Can't wait for the Muzzin pick to be a lottery pick. That'll be awesome. Can't wait for Grant McCagg to be right about something this team's so bad. Jesus Lord.
Is the time to stop holding their hands not when they lose 4 games in one round of the playoffs? Not now in January or February now.
Wait, so you want me to
Just wait till the playoffs.
again?
Yeah. Again? Isn't that the litmus test for this team? The playoffs?
So, in order to contend,
early
so
February
this is what
Detroit
people
Red Wings games?
So this is what people talk about when it comes to a 5-year rebuild then. So what they need to do is lose in the first round for 4 straight years and then contend? Is that what the 5-year rebuild is?
No, I'm just saying if they lose in the first round, then it's probably a problem. But if they lose a game in February to Detroit and then make it to the 3rd round of the playoffs, it's probably fine.
If the next 3 months don't matter at all, why are we still watching? Why are we still talking about it?
Because they're playing the games. Because they have to play the games.
They matter. It matters, and they look like shit.
Okay.
The Toronto Maple Leafs look like shit, and it's worrying to me, all right? I'm sick of the way this team plays. They're way, way, way too good to be this pedestrian. They're so boring to watch. Boring and uncreative.
Okay, so then, real question here. Is it the style of hockey they're playing? Is it the effort they're putting in? What is it that's leading to this pedestrian hockey?
That was the thing. Like, there have been games where I'm like, they look kind of lazy. Last night wasn't one of them. They just kept intentionally trying the same things over and over again and failing. And there were periods, people were saying, the Leafs lost tonight and they deserved to. The Red Wings did outshoot them by a considerable margin. I thought the shots were a little bit of a liar in that game. They started like shit again. It's something. It has to be coaching. It has to be. I'm sorry. If you do something every game for 3 straight years, it's coaching. Their starts are shit. End of sentence. There it is. Mike Babcock and the hockey team he coaches cannot start hockey games. So there's that. I don't even remember where I was going.
Well, I'm asking you what's making them so pedestrian.
Oh. Yeah, they keep trying the same fucking shit. The power play, man. Sorry, I'm swearing a lot. I'm so tired and angry.
It's okay.
Like, dude, the power play is an atrocity. But no, wait. Where I was going before that was after the start, which was so bad, again, trademark, I thought they had the puck a lot more than Detroit. I thought they looked a lot more dangerous than Detroit. And when Detroit went up 2-1, I was just sort of like, of course they did. Because the Leafs have been playing so much better than them it was at least a 15-minute stretch, I thought. Even though Jimmy Howard's friggin' falling asleep in his net, the Leafs had the puck a lot more. Detroit should be given some credit. They played a good defensive game. But this team has too many, unbelievably dangerous weapons to be this uncreative. And the Matthews line I thought was all right. The Matthews, Marner, Marleau line. I cannot tell you who Tavares' line mates were last night.
No.
I don't remember. I know. Wait, is he hurt?
Nylander was with Kadri, right?
Nylander was with Kadri,
it seemed like there was a genuine spark between Marner and Tavares, and I understand that Matthews and Marner want to play together so much, and I understand that Nylander has taken some time to get up to speed, as you would expect. I don't think we're going to see full William Nylander till playoffs / next season. I just don't. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it happened.
It's a shame.
It's a shame, but
it's come to that.
He played like 14 minutes. But
both the Leafs and him are to blame for that. So you guys can sit in your own shit. Like that's your own fault, both of you. Yeah. I think that Marner and Tavares were tearing it up. I don't understand why you split them up.
No.
I don't understand why Patrick Marleau is being stapled to Austin Matthews when clearly that isn't working.
Hey, last night worked.
Okay, but name another game where that worked well.
I think Patty's been heating up. That's not the hill I'll die on. I would honestly, someone else should probably be in that position. I'm not gonna die on that hill right now.
Well, that's not the hill I'm choosing to die on, but that's one of the things. Kasperi Kapanen and Andreas Johnsson looked great with Austin Matthews. Why are we not doing that?
Yeah.
Why is it that when they do look good together, we can't keep them together? And I know Scott Wheeler put out an article with the Athletic today, and the title's a bit misleading because it says Mike Babcock's eventually going to have to stop changing up his lines, and a lot of it's about Jake Muzzin.
Nope, said Mike.
But this is a team that's been very consistent with its lines up until this season. Now there have been, we had a broken ankle for Tyler Ennis. We have a holdup for William Nylander. You have Kapanen and Johnsson emerging as much better players than I think that the Leafs maybe thought they were going to be, or maybe the Leafs knew, but they weren't going to give them the opportunity to be until the injuries took over. I don't know. But it definitely seems as though, okay, you got your great thing. Why are you splitting it up?
Some of it's on the players too, because the talent on this team is so ridiculous and so deep. Babcock should be able to literally write each player's name on a dart and just blindly throw it at a board and be able to put together like a decent line. Here, I'll name a random left winger, Hyman. Name a random center, Kadri. Name a random right winger, Nylander. There's a good line.
And to answer your question from earlier, Tavares' line mates last night were Kapanen and Hyman.
So I had no idea. Here, Marleau, Matthews, and Trevor Moore. even that line I like. There's literally no combination of three forwards on the Leafs that would be a bad line.
And yet
they look just terrible.
So what do you say tomorrow? Let's say because Malkin's out for the Penguins tonight. Let's say the
Penguins will win.
Let's say the Leafs come in and have
Malkin's
a really
out of the lineup. The Leafs should win. They have no reason not to lose, not to win. They're going to lose.
This is what they do. He falls to in January with the Leafs. January, February with the Leafs. This happened last year too, man. Exactly the same.
Listen, man.
If you listen to the same episode from the same day last year, we had this conversation.
I know.
But Mike Babcock made the adjustments just after this.
At random moments during the day, we'll be doing random things, and Charlie will start looking up in the air, freaking out, tail between his legs, and running around looking for shelter. And I don't hold it against him anymore, because Charlie's seen some shit. I've seen some shit with this team. All right? I have seen some shit. And you guys were nice enough to get me out of the shelter and be like, here, how about we do a podcast? And I'm like, brr. And for the most part, you have a good time with me. You give me a pet, and I'm like, ah.
We always have a good time.
Yeah.
Even now,
but sometimes you're like, oh, he's having one of his days. He's seen some shit. Oh, poor Steve. Come here, Scruffy.
Okay, so
his wife wakes him up early. Oh, here you go, Scruffy.
You were tweeting about Muzzin being moved back down the lineup last night.
That was an overreaction.
Yeah. Muzzin is being warmed up to the Leaf system, right?
That was an overreaction.
Now, with 3 minutes left, even though the Leafs did tie it up, the guy I have out there with Morgan Rielly is not Ron Hainsey. It's Jake Gardiner.
Wait, no, sorry. And there's another... There's another example of
But why?
Babcock being such a confusing coach. Last night, on the first half of a back-to-back, where the second half of the back-to-back is against the Pittsburgh Penguins, Babcock played Morgan Rielly 28 minutes. What is actually wrong with you? Like, what suggests that's smart? What about anything suggests that's smart?
Maybe he's trying to gear him up. Get ready, man.
What
You're going to be playing
does
this in the
that mean?
playoffs.
Like,
Maybe he's going to be the guy that logs that kind of minutes, like the Drew Doughty minutes, the Erik Karlsson minutes. Maybe that's what they're saying. They're saying, listen, we gotta limit the minutes of these other guys. Ron Hainsey's minutes are going to come down. Yes, they played,
and they did,
and I think they were still higher than Jake Muzzin's, but he's getting warmed up into the system, I believe. Anyway, let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at the lineup. The point is, Morgan Rielly needs to be that horse now. If we're talking about a Norris Trophy candidate, I mean, they talked about it on the TSN broadcast last night. What did you it was one of the questions in the quiz. How much percentage do you give Morgan Rielly to win the Norris this year? And, Bob McKenzie said 33 and Jeff O'Neill said 50-50 or whatever. If that's the guy he is, if he is a Norris Trophy candidate,
he should be able to do that.
He should be playing 28 minutes a night to 30 minutes a night in the playoffs.
You're right.
So why not warm him up to it?
You're right.
And if you remember back to our Nick Kyprios episode, right after it was during the World Cup.
How could I forget?
In 2016, and he talked about the fact that we said, do you think this early start's going to throw some of these guys off? He said, at their age, he's like, you can go right on through the playoffs and you'll be fine. And I would imagine that Morgan Rielly at this point, he's been hovering in around 22 minutes all year long. An extra 6 minutes a night at this point, unless he gets injured, let him go. Take the handcuffs off. And same with the forwards, though. Same with the forwards. I think you've got to have Matthews out there. I don't like Nazem Kadri. I was watching the game with TJ, who we host the show on Virgin together with Jesse, and we were watching it. We were watching it last night, and he said Kadri's not looked like Kadri this year. He's like, okay, forget that he.
That was such a.
Forget that he isn't scoring as much. He's like, I don't really care about that. He's like,
he's not an asshole.
He's not an asshole. And that's exactly what TJ said. He's like, he's not a pest. What happened?
And that was such a credit to Babcock that he literally, like, just every game, like before puck drop, would put a scent on a rag and like hold it in front of Kadri's face and be like, go get him. And hey, tonight you got to get McDavid. And tonight you got to get this guy. And tonight you got to get that guy. Like he just aimless, I guess would be the word. He was demoted or whatever to the third line this year. He wasn't demoted. But he's
playing the same minutes he was playing last year.
Yeah, the issue isn't that. The issue is like it's almost like he hasn't been given an assignment.
Yeah.
And it's weird because like I guess maybe that's the Leafs trying not to have the other team dictate the game. I don't know, but I just find with lesser opponents like Detroit, the Leafs so often play down to them. Mm-hmm. But then with better teams, they play up. I don't like. Why not just be the Leafs? Look at your roster; it's sick. Like, just be the Leafs. You dictate the play. You bring it to them from the opening friggin' puck drop. Finally, for once. Oh, they drive me nuts.
Does Anderson start tonight?
I assume not.
Tonight, I would play him back to back tonight.
Oh boy.
But
no, that's a bad idea.
You do kind of have to give Garrett Sparks some time, just in case.
I didn't even think about that.
Anderson did look really good. I would have started Sparks last night. That just would have been me.
And you would have been right. And Sparks against the Red Wings again. Here, one thing I want to read from Kay Papetti. On ice results last night. Jake Gardiner, 13 Corsi for, 8 Corsi against, 62% possession.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Nikita Zaitsev, 2 Corsi for, 13 Corsi against, 13% possession. They play together.
Wow.
Like, I'm just...
Nikita Zaitsev...
That's hard to do.
They're keeping him there, right? Because they want to move him. Because if this is all things being equal, if Nikita Zaitsev's a $2 million defenseman, Nikita Zaitsev's not in the lineup, right?
Oh, if he's less?
If he doesn't have that contract, he's not in the lineup.
I don't think so. I think they got to try to.
By the time this podcast is done recording, is Martin Marincin still a Toronto Maple Leaf? He's on waivers right now.
No. I think if Keith Gretzky in Edmonton has not put in a claim on him already, he should be fired.
Marty going back to Ed Money. Yeah. That'd be amazing.
There's a lot of teams that should pick him up.
There was a trade involving Brad Hunt last week.
Funny that they couldn't find one for Marincin. Funny that they couldn't find one for Marincin.
Funny that Justin Hall. Did he lose a bet?
I think Justin Hall's a righty and Marincin's a lefty. And
but when they need a replacement on the right, they put in Marty. Why is?
I think there might be a reason. Do you remember Moneyball when Billy Beane is going head to head with his manager Art something? What was it? Art
oh
something?
Yeah. And this is Dubas going.
Yeah, he traded the Rookie of the Year because he's like, you have to use Scott Hatteberg. You're not using Scott Hatteberg. You're not using this lineup the way it needs to be used. And he's like, I am starting the Rookie of the Year shortstop. And they're like, okay, fine, we'll trade him then. And that I think is what is. I absolutely think that's what's going on.
Well, in that case, the coach is undermining the GM. Know your place in the totem pole. You're fired.
You cannot think that firing Mike Babcock or...
Listen, I am not calling for that. I'm not calling for that. Mike has driven me nuts every year he's been Leafs coach and found a way to redeem himself. He's always found a way to come out of it. All right, it's February. I'm done, Mike. I'm bored.
Were you a little disappointed in Mike's comments about Jake Muzzin?
Yes.
When he said, it's obviously not a perfect situation because he's a left shot. I was like, that's what you're going to say? That was interesting to me.
Just use your head, you actual stubborn old man. What? Are you John Tortorella? Is that your thing now? That you say stupid things to the media and make your boss's job harder and undermine your players? Is that your thing? At least that's his brand, and because of that, people find it cute. Is that your thing, Mike? I don't understand this coach. He drives me up a wall, and I don't know if I ever talked about Randy Carlyle this way, because I just always thought he was just bad. You know what I mean? Whereas Babcock, I feel like, can be a good coach.
He's a good coach.
Yes. And it's just...
He's very good.
He's so mystifying. The Jake Gardner of coaches. I go, dude, you're so good. Why don't you just be that?
I want to read a quote to you. Now, this happens to be about the power play. It's from Jonas Siegel. But I think it goes to... I knew we would talk a lot about line combinations today, so I brought this quote because I thought it would perfectly sum up where Mike Babcock's head's at, okay? So Jonas Siegel writes this. The Leafs tried William Nylander on PP1 for the first time last night. Babcock hasn't moved pieces around much on that unit otherwise to this point, but says he's considered it. Quote, just think, if you're thinking about it, how much I'm thinking about it. Just think, if you're thinking about it, think about how much I'm thinking about it.
We've been thinking about this for a very long time, Mike. I don't understand. That quote means nothing. It's cute, but it means nothing to me. It was we've been... What, because you were asked this question in January? Where was that quote in December there, Mike? Where was that quote when they started struggling after a month and a half? This coach drives me up a wall. Up a wall. He's like when you get a kid a toy and they play with the box. Play with the toy, Mike! We paid for the thing! You'll have a lot more fun with it, trust me! Stop using your friggin' Ron Hainsey imagination. Why did I go back to Ron Hainsey? I shouldn't. I'm just very grumpy. I'm very grumpy. The Leafs if should not lose those games.
If Ron
and not
Hainsey,
like that.
I think there's a few things going on here. First off, there's a lot of people who don't think Mark Marincin gets claimed. I think he gets claimed. Heart of Lab brought up a really good point on Twitter, which is if Marincin gets claimed, that gives Callie Rosen a shot. which I am far more for than what Mark Marincin brings. I think Calle Rosen is far more what this team is. Mobile, puck-moving guy that can come in and fill in behind the top 3 defensemen I believe they have on the team besides Jake Muzzin, which are Rielly, Gardner, Dermott. What I'm a little concerned about is Dermott's ice time. I'm not
13 minutes last night.
I'm not sure why.
It's a waste of a game.
He had yesterday. He had a bit of a giveaway. There was one. It was so great. Or no, it was like a bit of a giveaway. He turned around. He skated hard. He stole the puck back.
Yes.
And
yes.
He was one of the 3 guys in on a 3-on-2 after he stole the puck back.
Yeah, he's chaos. Travis, I feel like Mike is really, really punishing players for defensive misgivings, and I suppose I don't blame him for that. It's just weird that he picks on certain players for that and not others.
He's harder on rookies. We know that.
Never see Zaitsev get benched. Dermott's not a rookie. He's not. Dermott is not the sort of player, as chaotic as he is, you can have playing scared. You know what I mean? You can't have him playing scared of making mistakes. His whole thing is he's shiftier and faster than you. He can make great offensive plays. Let the kid fly. Let the kid fly. 13 minutes is a joke. I don't get it. I'm trying to make jokes.
I'm going to hot take this one.
I'm just upset.
I'm going to hot take this one. Nikita Zaitsev's not a Leaf after the deadline.
Hopefully,
I think.
Yeah. Yes, Jesse. Hopefully,
if we talk about guys like we talk about this management group being able to see the results. If we're seeing those results, if we're seeing the stats that you just read, was it you, Jesse, that read it, or was it Steve?
It was me. From
do you think management doesn't have some more advanced form to say, holy shit?
He's not a good player.
They're moving him.
He's not a good player.
They're absolutely moving him. And you know what? I wouldn't be shocked to see Ron Hainsey moved either.
Wow.
You wouldn't be able to trade Ron Hainsey for anything.
Yes, you would. 100%. Absolutely.
It's interesting because...
I would just move him. I would just move him and go, because you won't stop playing him, you can move him for a conditional pick. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, boy. I don't... See...
Now, he is
I've thought about stuff like that.
He is effective on the PK. There are stats that suggest.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know if I'd do that, but one thing I have thought of, believe me, I've had my fantasies of what if Zaitsev was gone and what if Hainsey was gone, and then I go, there is a human element to it all. Like there's a human element to being a general manager that I think people often ignore, and I don't know what a move like that would do to a team.
Yeah. Do the guys get unhappy because
of Zaitsev?
You just shipped out Hainsey and Zaitsev.
Well, Hainsey would be quite alarming if I was a Leaf.
Yeah.
See, I think Marlowe would be the guy that would upset the team.
Marlowe would
piss off the guys.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that if Hainsey and Zaitsev leave and there's somehow guys who are maybe not superstars but are better, I think they're smart enough to understand.
And becoming more and more of a thing in all sports, but in hockey as well. I want to know who all these guys are represented by. Because I feel like if you trade one agent's guy, he's going to be like, nope, we're done here. No, you don't get this guy, you don't get that guy. Trades have been made where I remember there was a GM who traded a player. I want to say it was way back in the day, it was Jack Johnson. And Carolina traded him because the GM just did not want to deal with his agent anymore.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Holy.
And I mean, that was many years ago, but I wonder how much that's a thing.
That's interesting.
And sorry, one last thing. People have been talking about how the Leafs need to add weight up front, and they need a big guy up front. That makes me mad on so many levels.
Like a Zach Cassian. Nope.
Well, this team, up front, look at them up front. This team shouldn't be adding dick up front. They should be playing a lot better than they are.
They should be dropping it, you could say.
Yeah. I just...
Just a joke. I'm just kidding, by the way. Don't tweet me.
No. They shouldn't be. They shouldn't need to add up front. They're too good.
Well, so on that note, let me read this from 31 Thoughts this week. Toronto will continue to survey the right-handed defensive options, but are likely looking at a dollar-in, dollar-out scenario. While they do have room below the ceiling, they want to protect it against potential Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews bonus money leaking into next year's cap figure. They need to save about $3.75 million for that. Muzzin was attractive because A, he's having a great season, and B, he didn't cost anything from the NHL roster. That was not going to be the case for Brett Pesce or Alex Pietrangelo. It is believed St. Louis's ask was William Nylander, which was rejected. Kyle Dubas wants to give this group a run. Next point. Los Angeles and Toronto sparred over 2019 first-rounder Rasmus Sandin. The Maple Leafs told anyone who asked that they did not want to include him and held firm. They did, however, remain Muzzin's most consistent and aggressive pursuer. Montreal and Tampa Bay were in the picture at times, and the Canadians, who had been trying to get him since the Max Pacioretty deal, which was aborted because Pacioretty wouldn't sign with the Kings.
Right.
I was not initially surprised that Timothy Liljegren wasn't included. Sorry, I was initially surprised that Timothy Liljegren wasn't included, but after a deeper look, teams are a little down on him right now. He's not yet 20, so it's way too soon to give up, but several scouts were not surprised the Kings chose Sean Druzy over Liljegren, which, by the way, if you read anything on people covering the Marlies this year, low-key Liljegren's had a great year.
Yeah,
it's just
and been injured.
And been injured, but also has had, like, great advanced numbers, so that's great for Toronto. Now,
scouts say.
Here's what I would say.
Fart.
What I find interesting about that, and you don't want to overly read into this, because of course they're going to look at other options. But I look at something like that and go, okay, so if it's dollar in, dollar out, you need to trade somebody with a contract that's comparable to whatever you're bringing in. So if you're looking at like a Radko Gudas, who is a third pairing right shot defenseman, right? Yes. In a perfect world. In the Leafs, I would think he'd be second pairing. And then you move Nikita Zaitsev down. If you are making that move, doesn't a guy like Ron Hainsey making what he makes make sense? You know, that guy, Ron Hainsey, makes $3 million a year.
Not Radko, if you're Philly.
His deal's expiring. Toronto can't take any more on the cap, so they need to move something else out along with whatever Philly wants, right?
Well, yeah, but if you're Philly, you go, well, I'm doing you an enormous favor.
Well, yeah, but
so like that makes it more is what I'm saying.
No. You're not understanding where I'm going with this. Okay, so Radko Gudas.
You trade Hainsey for Gudas.
No, it wouldn't be that flat out.
Oh, okay.
That's not what I'm saying. Okay, so dollar in, dollar out scenario is not one for one. It means that you trade money along with whatever it is you were going to get. So you say to Philly, listen, we want Radko Gudas and we're willing to meet your price.
But we need to
give you $3 million off our salary.
Yeah.
And here's an expiring contract.
Yeah.
And Gudas is not an expiring contract, right?
Right.
So you're giving them Ron Hainsey to fill the money out this year
and
so that your bonus overage doesn't go into next year when your cap is going to be super tight, right?
But if I'm Philly, that makes it more expensive, the trade. Because, you know, so let's say Gudas is, I don't know, a second, right? A second and a fourth. In order to take Hainsey off of your hands, because now I got to pay for that, and also I'm doing you a favor, that's going to cost you another pick of some sort.
Okay, fine.
Right? Well, what are the Leafs going to have any picks left? We will see.
I don't know. I don't look at that, and it's not a big deal. What's that going to cost? Like, really, what's that
I don't
cost?
know.
Nothing. I don't know. That's negligible cost.
I want to find out how the Leafs are able to trade Gudas for Hainsey, and Hainsey still plays more than him. I want to find out how Mike's going to pull it off. It's going to happen.
How Hainsey makes his way back onto the roster somehow.
Yeah. Monald Rainsey into the lineup with a big mustache.
And glasses. I'd like to know, the next time we have Chris Johnson on, I want to ask him about the conversations that coaches and GMs have. You know, they say they talk every day. Right now, they must be talking.
Oh my God, all the time.
Don't you think?
Hopefully screaming. I hope they're screaming.
What would that conversation go like? Yeah.
Mike, you're a madman. No, I'm actually a super genius. I don't know. I have no idea what it sounds like. Mike, do this. No.
We had a trade yesterday Panthers acquired Derek Brassard and Rielly Sheehan, along with a second and 2 fourths from Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh received Nick Bukestad, who I guess Florida had been trying to trade for a while, and Jared McCann, who was the guy that was traded by Vancouver to Florida in the Eric Branson trade.
Who Florida never wanted.
Oh, really?
Dale Talon never did. Because remember, that was a trade made during the Computer Boys era.
Oh.
That they were like, here's the direction we're going. And like 6 months later, nope. Never mind. Because if there's anything you want to do, it's abandon a plan immediately.
Right. Now,
it's such an annoying trade.
Why is that annoying?
Because I look at Bukestad and I look at McCann, and I just go, in the dictionary, if you were to look up 2 players who would find a way to get success in Pittsburgh,
Those would be the guys.
I would bet on those 2. Didn't Tanner Pearson go on a bit of a run after he was traded to Pittsburgh?
I think so. Yeah.
Like, it's just not fair. Stop helping out the damn Penguins. They've overtaken the Blackhawks in that category, and there they are.
Now, Brassard and Sheehan are on expiring contracts. They'll be UFAs at the end of the year. This clears a ton of cap room for the Panthers. They've got $58 million committed to 14 players. We expect the cap to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $85 to $86 million next year, right? That's, basing it on, $2.5–3 million a year, which is whereabouts it goes, right? Because it's 83 this year?
I can't remember.
So,
something like that.
The prevailing thought is that Dale Talon is going to get crazy, like he did with Dave Bolin, but this time Panarin and Bobrovsky. And he would have the money to do it. So would Columbus. But it seems like Bobrovsky and Torts don't get along. It seems like Panarin what did Jeff O'Neill say last night?
Loves Florida, wearing flip-flops.
So it looks an awful lot like the Panthers are going to pay an obnoxious amount of money for both players. So then the Panthers would have Reimer, Luongo, and Bobrovsky under contract.
I mean, they would have to find a way to trade Reimer.
Unless Luongo retires.
To New Jersey for Bo Horvat. That's how it works. When you trade a goalie to New Jersey,
wouldn't it be funny?
You have to get Bo Horvat.
Is that how that works?
Yes,
wouldn't it be funny if Luongo ended up in New Jersey with Corey Schneider?
Oh my God!
That'd be cool.
Full circle.
That would be amazing.
And then he retires.
Yeah.
Because he did the whole trip.
Yeah.
Came back to Corey Schneider.
Puts Corey Schneider in his happy place. Corey Schneider starts playing like Corey Schneider again.
But he surrenders the Stanley Cup winning goal to Bo Horvat. I'm so sleepy.
It seems like the Panthers are going to pay a lot of money for those 2 players, doesn't it?
Talon's a ridiculous human being. The salary cap has never existed to him. It's almost like people forgot to tell him about it.
Well, I mean, he could.
And now he's like too embarrassed to ask about it.
Why does Florida think they can go for it? Like, isn't that a move where they're trying to win?
I don't blame them for that, because like for the longest time I've been like, all right,
now
this team,
Florida's year.
Well, this team looks like it should be better than it is, and it just isn't. Mm-hmm. Like they need to do something drastic. That's pretty drastic.
Oh yeah.
But it's not
a move for this year at all.
No, that's the confusing thing. So they're clearly, I would guess, shedding, because now, so they get all these picks from Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
In the
3
trade.
picks.
So there you go. I'm sure someone would like Brassard, so there's some more picks. I'm sure someone would like Sheehan. There's another pick. So
then why do you need Panarin and
flip
Bobrovsky?
all these? Or, I don't know. I think Dale Talon's, he's got his busy bee hat on. Also, you made fun of me, but they flipped the pick from the Alexiak trade.
Did they?
The Minnesota's 4th from the Alexiak trade is the one that went to is one of the
funny.
3 that went to Florida. Yes.
I love it. That's great.
But it just doesn't seem like a fit. Like I understand that they want to do it, but it doesn't seem like a fit right now for Florida. Right?
Dale Talon is a very confusing general
I think they are
manager.
absolutely going to trade both of those guys. Like, I don't think Derek Brassard's a Florida Panther for more than 10 games.
I mean getting Panarin and Bobrovsky.
Well, I think that they think that they're a goaltender and a big scorer away.
From a lot of teams
from making up 10 points in the standings. in 2 months?
Yeah. They've had the problem with Reimer and Luongo is they've been injured.
Yeah.
Luongo's been good when he's been in. Reimer's been okay when he's been in. The problem is that they don't have a goalie that's been steady for them. Florida's like Philly. They never can get a goalie in there. And both of them since Van Beesbrook have not had solid goaltending.
Here, wait a sec though, Jesse. Do you think we mean Panarin and Bobrovsky in a trade?
No, it's not going to be.
No, this is free agency.
Okay.
They're signing them both.
Because you're like, wait, how are they going to do this?
Yeah, no.
But is Panarin not trying to move now?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's up to Columbus.
His agent is all but requesting a trade by saying, I'm not going to negotiate during the season, unless he's just playing hardball.
So do you think Columbus makes the decision to go for it this year, or do they trade him and get all their assets and still kind of go for it? We talked about this last episode.
I know, it's so tough.
We went over
if you're Columbus, how don't you look at the East and go, yeah, we could do that?
Columbus should hold tight. They should.
Oh, I don't know.
But they are going to lose them both. They are going to lose
Can you believe both things? Are you allowed?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I think I might. They're going to lose both, but they're also...
Because I don't think Florida makes the trade now. It doesn't make sense for them.
Yeah,
they know Panarin's going to the open market.
That's what I'm saying.
Bobrovsky hates it there, or hates towards. Probably doesn't hate Columbus. And so he's pissed. So, I mean, if I'm Florida, I take a run at them. If I'm Columbus, I take a run at them. But Columbus has $30 million in cap space. July 1st, by the way. $30 million.
So maybe they're gearing up and they think they can do it themselves?
Absolutely. They're going to be players. Columbus is going to be big players this summer. Now, I just want to throw this tweet in here because it kind of goes over part of the conversation we were having earlier. Expectation, this is from Pierre LeBrun for about 3 hours ago. Somehow I missed it. Expectation is that Judd Moldover, agent for Austin Matthews, will be in Toronto this week to continue talks with the Leafs. Still work to be done, but seems to be momentum. Again, belief is it's most likely a 5 or 6 year deal if both sides can get it done over the next few weeks.
Cool.
That's some good news.
Nice.
Hooray.
Some good news. So then we can stop talking about offer sheets. No, we can't.
No.
But with regards to Panthers, it just seems like okay, we're gonna just trade as much as we can, get as much salary off the books as we can. We think, being Dale Talon, that we're a goalie and a scorer away. I mean, isn't New Jersey? Isn't Edmonton? Aren't so many teams that way? Like I would argue that if New Jersey had goaltending this year, they'd be right back where they were. I would argue that with Edmonton too.
It just strikes me as a not very Florida move. Like I just feel like the more you get into markets like that, where they, can't really fill the building and, maybe there's some money issues. Like, you need to get a little more creative than, let's buy the big two fish. Two fish packed.
What about...
Like, isn't that the sort of dumb move the Rangers and Leafs should be doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
Isn't that like a Yankees sort of thing, not a Florida Panthers thing?
Maybe they're trying to do things differently. I would look at
if they can do it.
If we interviewed Doug Sifu, that guy's bombastic. He likes bombastic moves. That would not surprise me at all. I'd also look at this. If I'm Columbus, okay, and I've got Panarin, and I know Panarin's going to the open market, okay. I am looking at the Ottawa situation right now. Looking long and hard because it was mentioned on the broadcast last night. A lot of and it's been mentioned by Elliot as well, the trade deadline moves that potentially could happen are being held up by Stone and Duchesne. People are watching Ottawa and going, hey, are they going to re-sign or are they not? Because that sort of sets the market here.
Right.
And Bob McKenzie mentioned that it would be pretty tough to get it done on the timelines that Ottawa has outlined. Like, if Ottawa wants to get a deal done with those guys, they better get cooking. Otherwise, they're going to have to trade them both because they're not going to let them walk for nothing. If I am Columbus and I want to get a little creative, I call them and say, how much for Mark Stone? Can we give you Panarin and then you can flip him for someone else? If I can get Panarin, or if I can get Mark Stone on an extended contract or Matt Duchesne, then my problem is solved. Because Jonas Korpisalo is not a bad goalie. I would imagine he's their starter next season. I look at that and I go, can I get Mark Stone signed to a long-term deal? What does he want? We can pay it. because Ottawa, the issue with Mark Stone, who likes it there, and they'd probably make him captain, is that Mark Stone wants an X amount of dollars, and Ottawa's like, we can't afford it.
Damn it, Adam. I love that idea. It's maximum chaos.
And then
I love that idea.
And then Ottawa gets Panarin, and then they flip him off for someone else. They
flip him off.
Flip him off.
Flip him off.
Call Florida. You want him now? How much?
Oh my goodness, Dale Talon. Sorry, Pierre Dorian just goes to Dale Talon and goes, well. How the tables have turned. How's Mike Hoffman doing for you? You in a playoff spot there, David?
To solve your Stone money problem is the thing not to do. Just get rid of Bobby Ryan and his $7 million.
Ooh. Well, it's easier said than done. No one wants him.
That is,
you just gotta dump it for nothing at this point because you want the money for the.
Is that one of those weird buyout-proof contracts? They won't buy him out.
I don't think Ottawa can.
They can't afford to buy him out.
Yeah. It's a modified no trade clause, so 10-team list, but do you not just ship him somewhere for nothing and take the $7.2 million back?
What I would do is I would call Edmonton and be like, we'll take Chris Russell and Lucic if we can give you
That's not
Bobby Ryan. Because the money somewhat matches out.
No.
And then at least you got Chris Russell and Lucic.
No,
but Edmonton's dumb
retain
enough
a little on Lucic.
that if they retained a little on the money and Ottawa just took back Lucic, maybe.
Jesse Blake.
3-2 Cheech.
Guys, I don't hate this. It's freaking silly. Let's go for it. I like it.
Let's get a
Bobby
little
Ryan and Connor McDavid?
Sorry?
Bobby Ryan and Connor McDavid?
Two-packed.
Ottawa is the straw that stirs the drink this trade deadline.
They're the great hope for the 2019 trade deadline. Come on, Pierre.
I would love to see. If I'm Jarmo Kekalainen, I'd be like, can I talk to Mark Stone's agent and just see how much it would cost?
Adam, is
or Matt Duchene, whichever one he wants. In fact, I would prefer
both.
Well, or both.
Both. Maximum chaos. You guys get Panarin and Bobrovsky.
Nah, they wouldn't.
And flip them.
The only one, if I'm Ottawa,
I love it.
The person I want is Panarin because I know I can flip Panarin for a lot, especially young players.
Yeah.
And if you look at so what I would do is I would call Florida and go, "What's your offer for Panarin?" And Dale Talon would be like, "Well, blah 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 blah, less than what you would want." Mm-hmm. So then I call somebody where it would really piss him off. So I call Tampa where the cap doesn't exist, right? And I go, "What about Sergachev?"
Oh.
We'll take Killorn and his contract, or we'll take McDonough and his contract. Not McDonough, Callahan.
Oh, Adam.
I'll take Callahan off your books, but you got to give me Sergachev.
When did you turn into the Mad Hatter?
Sergachev.
What has gotten into you today? I love it.
And then see how much Dale Talon likes Tampa getting Panarin and then re-signing him because of course they would.
You guys are really picking the show up today. I appreciate that. With your crazy ideas.
See, because Jesse and I are not afraid. Whereas the NHL GMs, they're afraid.
They are afraid.
Since the lockout, the 2012-2013 lockout, how many 25-goal seasons does Bobby Ryan have?
Jesse's got a big smile on his face. He's got I'm wearing a New England Patriots scarf. Not scarf,
cape. I am wearing a cape, sir.
Sorry.
Get it right.
My bad. You're right. That was wrong of me.
Has he been with the Senators that whole time?
Yes. Has he? No. He came to Ottawa in 13-14.
One.
Adam.
I'm going to say 0.
Donuts!
Damn it, I was going to say 0!
Hasn't scored 25 goals since the lockout.
Wow. So wait a sec. He scored 25 goals in the lockout shortened season?
No, 11.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
11-12 had 31 goals.
And then he's never scored more than 25.
Highest is 23 in 13-14.
No.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of non-goals for $7.25 million.
Jakob Silfverberg. How many goals does Jakob Silfverberg have in that time?
This is a little rude.
No, it's not.
This is rude.
No, it's not.
That's funny, man.
Listen,
That's
I'm mad.
funny.
I'm mad at my hockey team, so I need to know. Jakob Silverberg. He's been injured this season, so that's a shame. He has the same high though. 23 goals.
Same high.
Max.
But not as many goals as Bobby Ryan.
Ah, shoot. That was fun while it lasted.
Fun game.
The other pieces that seem to be waiting on Ottawa are Philly with Wayne Simmons and Carolina with Michael Furlan. Now, I have a thought. Michael Furlan is...
Oh, what crazy thing do you have for this now?
We know that Wayne Simmons is he is the 30-goal scorer guy who can fight, and he's all the things that
has been.
Yeah, has been. Has had some injuries and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Is Michael Furlan basically just Wayne Simmons, but people undervalue him? Are they essentially the same guy?
That is a good...
And that's not a slag at Wayne. It's just sometimes one player gets more attention than the other.
Yes, it's a different version of what I've talked about with the 2013 draft. Nathan MacKinnon has been Nathan MacKinnon longer than Seth Jones has been Seth Jones, right? Remember I said that back then? Michael Furlan hasn't... The Wayne Simmons brand is strong.
Yeah.
Brand awareness. People know that brand. People know that
He's
name.
played in 2 major markets, LA and Philly.
Yeah. Furlan... Man, I forgot he was a king. That was my little pause there. I was
When you said that, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Throwback.
He was traded for Shitty Richards, as Cam Sharon called him. Which Richards was it? Was it the good Richards or Shitty Richards? Shitty Richards.
Shitty Richards. I forgot about that.
That was a very funny quote.
Anyway, Wayne Simmons, brand awareness, very strong. Michael Furlan, it's weird. I remember him as the guy who made the Flames because all he did was fight. All he did was fight and hit. And then I see him included in this trade, and I go, what? I look at the season he had last year, and I go, oh, I didn't know Furlan was that good. And I see the season he's having this year, I go, what? But, in terms of the current season both guys are having, I think I'd rather have Furlan.
Well,
I want Wayne Simmons for sentimental reasons, obviously, but
if I'm Boston, Furlan or Simmons are my guy.
That makes me so mad. Also, are Boston...
Or both.
A bunch of teams haven't been able to stick to their brand over the years. The Flyers have gotten away from their brand. They've gotten away from the Broad Street Bullies.
Their goaltending has always been shitty, and it continues to be shitty.
Damn it, Jesse got it.
They are honing, and they're getting that brand down.
Jesse's sharp today. He's very
sharp.
Very slow. I'm a little tired.
So... The Flyers have gotten away from their bullying brand. The Bruins, they're rough and tumble bullshit. They're always on it. They called up a guy named Trent Frederick, which is not a real name. I refuse to acknowledge it. And he beat someone up in his first game. He's one of those weird guys who's 6'5", 230, with a 14-year-old's face. He's just
sounds like a guy from Boston.
Yeah. So anyway, they've been finding a way to stick on brand. If they find a way to get, let's be honest, they'll get Furlan and Simmons for 1 third-round pick combined, and it's going to be awful, and I hate it.
Can I tell you who I think might get one of those two?
Who?
The Vancouver Canucks.
That is a good pick. Good pick, sir.
They have all these young guys.
And they think they can do it.
Reward them for playing so well this year.
I'm super excited for Vancouver to almost get there and then just fuck it up.
No.
They're, I think, 1 point out of playoff. They're tied. They're losing on games played right now to Colorado for the second wildcard spot. They might make a dumb trade.
Damn it.
They might give up future assets for something and then not do well in the playoffs.
Please give me the forthcoming of Jay Beagle, Sutter, and Roussel.
The Canucks making the playoffs would be such a good story, though.
It would.
Damn it. I'm just looking at... how is Anaheim negative 33 goal differential and 1 point out of a playoff spot?
John Gibson.
Wow.
Should be the Vezina Trophy winner.
Okay. They have the second worst goal differential in the West. Only ahead of the Kings. They have a worse goal differential than the Blackhawks. That's crazy. How is that? God, the bottom of the West is strange. Really strange. And look at Vegas all of a sudden. They're gone. They're making the playoffs.
Oh,
They have 62 points right now.
Yeah.
They're 10 points clear. They're fine.
Chicago's on a 3-game winning streak and are all of a sudden 5 points out of a playoff spot, but second last in the West
Oh
still.
my goodness, Jesse.
Does Chicago do something magical?
Oh my God, probably.
Somebody will help them. One thing's for
What
sure.
if they start buying at the deadline?
Somebody will give Chicago something.
What if they get Panarin?
Oh, man.
Oh my God. That's why the Kings are brilliant for starting early with Muzzin. They're the only seller.
Yeah.
If I could get DeBrincat out of Chicago, I would give them Panarin back.
Whoa!
And you know Panarin would re-sign in Chicago.
Oh my God!
Wouldn't you?
What
if they get Panarin and Bobrovsky?
Adam's coffee was very good.
They need
can
it.
use it.
Your coffee was very good this morning, Adam. Oh my God. I'm into every suggestion Adam's made so far. I want them all to happen now.
Well, Jarmo Kekalainen can call me anytime. I can be assistant GM.
You're going to be smuggled out of this building. The second you walk out, someone's going to throw you into a black van. And Kekalainen's going to be like, we had the place bugged. How would you like a 7-figure salary working for the Columbus Blue Jackets?
Speaking of Chicago, did you know that officially as of yesterday eve, Patrick Kane is now a 4-time 30-goal scorer?
Yeah.
Wow.
Top 100 player all time.
Which
4-time 30-goal scorer, Patrick Kane.
Which obviously begs the question, now is he worthy of the Hall of Fame? Sorry. Man, I forgot about that bit. People were tweeting me about it last night. I was like, yeah, okay, fine, whatever.
He's also
you forgot that you said that?
I forgot that he said that.
That's
wow, he scored 30 goals 4 times, and people are tweeting me. I'm like, that's not even that impressive. Like,
He's having
and then
an
I'm like,
unbelievable
oh,
season.
right.
He might win the Hart Trophy.
If they make the playoffs?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
It might happen.
That's been it. 75 points in 51 games is pretty goofy. That's silly. The West is not done being on its bullshit, though.
No.
Them being 5 points out, that is interesting. I didn't even notice that.
Did you know that there's an entire city that's pissed off in the NHL right now?
An entire city?
An entire city.
And it's not Edmonton.
No, they're just depressed. After last night's loss, Buffalo's playoff chances have dropped to 21%. The Sabres were at 80% on December 18th and have gone 5-11-1 since, a 53-point pace. That's Dom Lucian. To which Tyler Dello replied, careful, someone DM'd me, or someone added me and tagged The Athletic threatening to cancel when I pointed out they were on a 63-point pace since November 29th last night. This is a team that once won this year, and I said this, cannot miss the playoffs. You won 10 games in a row. It's almost impossible.
And I said Philly did it 2 years ago.
All you need to do is win 10 games in a row and then play 500
hockey. Yeah.
And the Sabres cannot do it.
If you end your season 10 games above 500, you make the playoffs. So, yeah, you just got to go 500 the rest of the way. Ooh, the Sabres. Like, do they have, like, a really significant
Here, I'll tell you what it is.
Or what is it?
So, Joe Yerdon of The Athletic wrote something really interesting. Carter Hutton had his hottest run of the season, which coincided with the Sabres' 10-game winning streak, 7 of which, by the way, this is me adding this in, were in overtime. So there's a little bit of luck in there. 7 of those were in overtime.
Wow.
Including the 10th.
During that stretch, he went 8-0-0 with a .936 save percentage. That's pretty much a .936 save percentage. You're going to win most games.
Yes.
Since then, he is 3-9-2 with an .893 save percentage. In that same amount of time since the end of the streak, Linus Ullmark has gone 5-5-2 with a .911 save percentage. Better, but not great.
That's all right for a backup.
Neither is Stirring, but hey, not bad for a backup. Now, there is something else that I think you ought to know.
Oh dear!
I'm going to read
Jeff
this.
Skinner's top scoring 4 goals a game.
Going to read this. Carter Hutton knows very well he has struggled lately. This is the beginning of the article, and the article is called "Rough Stretch Only Grows Longer for Carter Hutton and the Sabres." He's more than well aware of that, his struggles after he was responsible for 4 goals against in 2 periods and a 7-3 loss against the Chicago Blackhawks on Friday. He was on the hook for 5 goals against in 24 minutes of work in a 7-2 loss at Edmonton before the break. In his past 4 starts, 3 of them losses, he's allowed 17 goals with an .832 save percentage.
Oh, is he all right?
You said it last year. Someone's going to come in and pay Carter Hutton a lot of money.
Shucks.
And it always shocks me that a couple years ago we were talking about how there were too many good goalies available. How the goaltending market was soft when the Leafs were looking to trade guys like Bernier and Reimer.
It's almost like it's rare to see like a market crash in people. But like
that's what it looked like.
There's been a market crash in goaltending.
Yes. And I found it interesting at the time because even then I knew, and my level of knowledge was far less 4 years ago. But how can the most important player on the team, how can that ever crash? That's like saying, oh, well, water. Price fell for water. Price fell for air. That is the most important, and that is not an abundant resource like water and air.
That's why Henrik Lundqvist is such a marvel that people really need to appreciate. He's perennially at least above league average, often in the Vezina conversation. He's kind of old now, obviously, but he's been a starter the whole time. The whole time. Antti Ranta threatened his job for about a week. He's been a starter the whole time. To be a starting goalie and a good one in the NHL for this long very rarely happens.
Did
very
Montreal do the right thing by paying Carey Price $10.5 million?
Well, he's been a lot better recently. I still say no on account of this is year 1 of that contract. Anything you sign, if you win a Stanley Cup, yes, the answer is yes, you should have done it.
It's true.
Because that's my standard. It's got to be so weird to be a Penguins fan. Because I'm or even a Caps fan right now. Because, how quickly did the feeling of just one wear off? You finally win one, and then you're addicted. You want to win the Stanley Cup the next year, too. And for the Penguins, winning once isn't enough. But for me, I'm listen, they win the Stanley Cup and then suck for 8 years. I don't care. I'll just watch that DVD for 8 years straight.
Yeah, exactly. Could care less. So I wanted to mention that Buffalo is super pissed, and when you look at their standings, they have fallen behind Carolina. Interesting, they're only 3 points out, but 21% is their shot.
Oof.
21%, which means Carolina's at about 21% too. Do you think Buffalo squeaks in? Because the teams they got to catch up to are Columbus and Montreal.
How amazing is Montreal? No. Well, it's good news for the Leafs that Buffalo's been stinking. Tell you that. No, I don't think Buffalo makes it this year. And I hope their fan base and the team don't take it too much to heart.
They will.
The Sabres are roughly where we thought they would be. If the Sabres had just sort of steadily gone to this point, we'd be hey, step up from last year. They get, Dahlin and Skinner was a good move.
Had they won last night, they'd be a point out of the playoffs.
Ridiculous.
And Columbus has a game in hand, too.
Yeah, you can't panic, man.
No.
You can't panic.
Montreal and Buffalo are also tied at 61 points, only 2 behind the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Awesome.
Now, they have identical records. Actually, Montreal's got one more win. But Boston is ahead because they've lost more.
What?
Boston, 27, 17, and 7. Montreal, 28, 18, and 5.
Regulation overtime wins. Montreal wins the tiebreak. And points
no,
percentage.
Boston wins. Boston's ahead.
Sorry, Boston.
So Boston has lost more in overtime.
Also, Carey Price is suspended for tonight.
What's that?
Carey Price is suspended for the game tonight.
Oh, because he didn't go to the All-Star game?
He didn't go to the All-Star game. Small note.
I hate that dumb rule.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that thinks it would sure be super good for a Leafs-Habs first round?
Sure. I think it'd be fun. The idea of I'm a very visual person, and I'm trying to picture the Leafs playing anyone in the first round. And it all ends with a loss at this point.
Oh, my God. Listen to you.
All of it.
All of it. God. All right.
Adam, I'm watching a loser team play loser hockey. I want to watch them play winner hockey. Holy shit, I need to go home.
A very quicker press conference. I think we need to talk about one thing. And we talked a little bit about trade deadline speculation. You want to talk about real speculation? Let's talk about Anthony Davis and the NBA. The fact that, yes, we must. Because this is what the NHL needs to do. This is what the NHL needs to look at. And this is why it's so important for the NHL to stop hiring people that used to play just because they used to play. They might be qualified, and that's great. If they're qualified, then they're qualified. Or friends and family of people that used to play.
Yeah.
Because the NBA has general managers that are very creative. And in Anthony Davis's case, everybody knows that he wants to go to LA and that LeBron wants him there and that they share an agent, right? What I love about this is that the Pelicans have said to everybody, okay, he wants out, that's fine, we'll make the trade. We're not returning the call of the Lakers. The Lakers have offered 5 different trade scenarios.
Okay, I saw
and the Pelicans are not returning their call. They're saying to the rest of the NBA, please tell us what you would give us. Because they're so pissed at the Lakers for forcing this, and they've got one more year on Anthony Davis's deal. Now they have to trade him, and they're going, well, we're not going to trade you to where you want to go. And Anthony Davis was fined already $50,000 for tampering. The player was fined.
The NBA does not give a shit.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, $50,000? Yeah, whatever. I spent that on dinner last night. I don't care.
Isn't that nuts?
That's crazy.
And the Raptors and Nuggets are apparently the two teams that are, and if you look at what the Raptors are doing, you'd get Anthony Davis for, it's like Muzzin, same contract deal. You get him for part of this year and all of next.
But isn't he just going to be miserable? Because he doesn't want to be here? He wants to be in LA?
I don't know. Jesse, thoughts?
I don't know. I hope they get him.
He gets to play with Kawhi. He gets to play with Kawhi Leonard and Kyle Lowry. I don't think he'd be that miserable.
Yeah,
Toronto's a pretty
who do
cool
they have
place.
to give up?
Oh, they're going to gut their whole bench. But they won't. I don't know if they need it at that point, right? It's like you got 3 guys who can score 30 points a night, so there's 90. Find 20 more.
Sorry, that made me laugh really hard, really fast.
Find 20 more points. And they also defend well.
But I like saying OG Anunoby.
OG's awesome. So is Pascal Siakam.
I know, and they're both going to be gone.
No, one of them will. I don't think they'll give them both up. Siakam's the guy you want to keep.
Yeah.
OG's awesome, but...
And if I'm the Pelicans, that's what they decided to go with. If I'm the Pelicans, that's the guy I want. The Pelicans?
I also
do you have a problem with the name?
Yeah. The Pelicans?
I also found this interesting. So the Knicks traded
Kristaps Porzingis.
Yes, Kristaps Porzingis, who was their franchise player but has a bad knee, to Dallas. Now, what was interesting about this, and Jesse can help me out with this a little bit more, is that they announced that he wanted to be traded, and an hour later,
he was traded.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think happened there?
Which is very untrue, because you don't just work out a deal within an hour and trade a guy. So the Knicks released this report that they had this meeting with Kristaps because he's been injured. He came into the office and he talked about how the team is losing and he wants to change the culture and doesn't want to be there if they're going to keep losing. And then all of a sudden he's traded. So they released this report that he's unhappy to change the narrative of, hey, this is his fault and he did this and he forced our hand. But it's just, they don't just come up with a trade within an hour. So they were clearly working on trading him, and now that they figured the trade was going to happen, which it did that day, they released this and then they trade him.
When was the last time the New York Knicks made the playoffs?
A couple years ago.
Really?
Yeah, it's been a little bit.
Oh. I thought it was a lot longer than that. I feel like they
didn't make it for long. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, when was the last time the New York Knicks won a playoff series? Was it more recently than the Leafs last winning a playoff series?
Probably not.
When was the Leafs last playoff series?
2004.
Yes, they've won more recently than 2004.
Nuts.
I can tell you right now, they won in 2012, 2013. They beat the Boston Celtics in the first round.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
Wow. That's pretty good. Oh my God! But that's it though.
Yeah, before that, they're in the playoffs twice. Lost to New Jersey in the first, or Miami and Boston in the first round. Then, anyways, they're a terrible franchise. The way they've been run the last few years.
Last time they made it past the second round was the 99-2000 season. Oh my God!
Yeah,
that's really bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, they salary dumped their franchise player in the hopes of getting Durant and Kyrie to come to New York in the offseason.
They don't want it.
Kevin Durant, the rumor is that he does want to go to New York, and that's why this deal happened so quickly, because there was some sort of wink, wink, nudge, nudge that he is going to come. His main guy, his agent, I think it's Rich Paul. He's a huge Knicks fan all his life, and his dream is to one day run the New York Knicks. So he's been in Kevin Durant's ear.
This is why the NBA is so great.
I feel like
he's been in Kevin Durant's ear all his life, telling him to go play in New York, and Kevin Durant's kind of leaning towards that. So they're very, very hopeful that this the offseason happens.
Let's say Kyrie doesn't stay in Boston.
Which it looks like he's not going to.
Right, because he's pissed off now.
Yeah.
And let's say he doesn't go to LA, which has been a little bit rumored, right?
Yes.
Even though he and LeBron, kind of, they went head to head.
And now Kyrie's apologizing to LeBron publicly and saying he called him, being like, hey, I don't know what it takes to be a leader, and now I know because I went to Boston and tried to start my own team, and LeBron, I'm sorry for leaving. So that happened a couple months ago, or last month. And then, now he's like, early in the year, Tim and Sid they did a great little segment on this. They ran the clip of Kyrie saying, I'm going to stick around next year. And then immediately they run the clip from 2 days ago where he's like, I don't know my future. I don't owe anybody shit. So, yeah.
He said before this season started that he wanted his name up in the rafters at Boston Garden.
And he did a commercial with his dad about retiring as a Celtic.
Oh, my God.
So what's hilarious about this is, like, LeBron seems like a pretty legit dude. KD seems like a legit dude unless you're until you're not on KD's side, then he's the pettiest motherfucker out there. Okay. And what I find hilarious is him and Kyrie on a team together would be so funny and so fun to watch because it would explode within 18 months.
And it's great because it would happen in New York, where all of that should happen because that franchise is very dysfunctional.
I feel like going back to Anthony Davis for a sec. I feel like to get fined for tampering in the NBA, it's like getting pulled over for speeding on the 401. Like, wow, that guy must have been going really fast.
Yeah.
Wow, that guy must have been really tampering.
Because that's kind of the hidden, everybody kind of turns a blind eye to it.
Yeah.
The fact that all these guys are talking and nobody's really getting fined, even though all of it's very illegal.
Yeah, wow, that guy must have really, really been tampering.
Yeah, so for him to do it publicly like that, he definitely deserves to get fined. Anyway, it's very interesting.
It is amazing to watch. If you are not paying attention to the NBA trade deadline, then you are missing out. It really is, truly, the best league.
Oh, yeah.
By next Friday, or next Thursday at 3 p.m. is a trade deadline, you could have, I guess, one of the top 5 players in the league and another one, Kyrie, who's top 10 player, not be on their teams anymore.
That's bananas.
Yeah.
And that's just like a regular weekday.
Yeah, and a future star has already been traded.
What did Down Brown tweet? He's like, oh, our star player didn't have a good lunch and is a little grumpy, and then we traded him by the second. Like, it's so true. And man, I just wish the NHL was creative like that.
Ooh, can I get your thoughts on another NBA NHL thing?
Ooh, okay.
So this week, Adam Silver announced that Dwayne Wade and Dirk Nowitzki will be special guests added to the All-Star teams.
Love it.
Yeah, love it, right?
Absolutely love it.
The NHL should totally do things like that.
Just to have, like,
what if Patrick Marleau could have been there last week?
Marleau should have absolutely been there, especially because it's San Jose. And then, I don't know who someone else you bring back. I don't know.
Jerome McGinley.
I mean,
no.
Roman Polak. San Jose Shark, great.
Yeah.
Timo Solani comes out of the broadcast.
Somebody that you know is like it's their last year, right?
Yeah.
You know.
And they're stars like those guys are.
Randomly, like for the shootout competition, bring in Jonathan Chichu.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. Yeah, no, I'm all for bringing out the alumni.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool.
Or not alumni, they still play.
We talked about it last week, or last show, but I also think it's just stupid that guys who are... like the only guys who can be there are the guys who are playing in the game.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
Like
That's dumb.
just have the skills competition.
Yeah.
Just have it, and then have it separate from the game.
That's dumb.
There's a reason the NBA All-Star Weekend is just a big party. It's because everybody goes.
Yeah.
It's not just the guys who are selected who are there. No, it's everybody
Where
who's
it's like
there.
the NHL's like, we've booked 3 doors down this year.
Yeah.
They're gonna come play that song they did in the '90s.
Chris Daughtry, and we have a bouncy castle outside. Like, it's always the same.
No, guys.
Like,
Imagine Dragons is playing.
oh.
They're going to play Thunder.
Again, another band I
Jesse
do not get.
Blake with a
but I
hot
wish them the
take. No. Sorry. I'm so sorry, everybody. Are we done?
No, we're doing the press conference now.
Oh, yeah.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
It's a Leafs win tonight, by the way. All will be forgiven. Jesse knows it. I know it.
Nope.
Steve knows it.
Nope. Well, they won't, so.
I just know it.
Nope.
Feel it in my bones.
Do you guys want to read some tweets from my new favorite Twitter account?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of former Major League Baseball player Jose Canseco?
Yes.
Oh my God, the best.
Well, he has his own Twitter account. It is at Jose Canseco. And he tweets great things like, come play golf with me and learn more about aliens and time traveling.
So that's like a funny tweet, except he means it.
He does mean
Like, he's serious.
Yep.
If you go golfing with Jose Canseco, he'll tell you about aliens and time travel.
He tweets other things like, we are in communication with aliens with a very flexible body composition called the A151. These aliens are going to teach us how to try and travel the brain and can physically travel without the body. Aliens have been trying to teach us how to time travel, but first we have to change our body composition, which we are not willing to do. We have tried with animals, and it has failed. Time travel puts 42,651 pounds of pressure on a human skeletal structure, can detach the brain from the body, and equalize the pressure. It can be done. Our science is totally irrelevant to aliens. Shall
This guy played baseball?
I keep going?
Yes.
The truth hurts. And then he goes on a rant about Cox Communications and what a lousy company they are.
That's a big radio company in the States.
Do you want to hear his takes on Cox Communications?
Wait, I don't know if I do. What is it? Well, read one.
Whatever you do, do not get an account with Cox, especially their Wi-Fi section. It's the worst in the world. Horrible technical support, not even that you overpay, and the Wi-Fi doesn't work half the time.
Okay.
If we colonize the moon, I should be president.
What is wrong with this person? Okay, by the way,
Are we
you
still in debt if we print our own money? Me for president. First thing you
Wait,
have to
so,
do is
like,
completely
that's funny.
abolish taxes.
No, like, wait. All of that is funny if he's kidding. All of that's funny if he's kidding.
I
Is
just
he?
sort of feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Do you feel bad for Jose Canseco?
I think
I don't know. Do you want to feel bad for Jose Canseco, or do you want to see me hit some dingers?
They laughed at me when I said I would do the 40-40, and I did it. That's much harder than becoming president. Should I run for president?
what's the 40-40?
I guess 40 steals, 40 home runs, I think it was. 40-40 club.
He stole 40 bases?
Yes. I believe that's the 40-40.
He was a pretty amazing athlete.
Yeah.
That guy was like 275 pounds
Well, no,
of pure
he got bigger
steroid.
because he took a ton of steroids, but he was actually a good home run hitter and a very good runner at the beginning. So was Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds was like among the leaders every single year in stolen bases.
And then all of a sudden he got really big and started hitting home runs.
Crazy, yeah.
He was this little skinny dude when he first started. Winning MVPs, running, stealing bases.
And then by the end of his career, he has like the face of a pumpkin. Like he's enormous.
His neck is bigger than his head.
Yeah,
I'm not answering that question because it's stupid.
And Sammy Sosa, who was like a double-A ball player who was not good at all of a sudden, and he was like this skinny little dude. Yeah,
Just cranking.
if Sammy Sosa in his prime touched the ball, it would leave the stadium.
I remember.
But he often struck out.
You see, kids, 25 years ago, all baseball players were shaped like Johnny Bravo. Also, 25 years ago, Johnny Bravo was a cartoon on Teletoon.
It's a fresh new
Also, 25 years ago, people watched the television. I'm so tired.
Shall we wrap it up?
Probably. I'm sorry, folks.
Jesse?
I'm all done.
I tried today.
I read an interesting article. I was telling Adam the other day about how footballs are made. Sports Illustrated followed a cow from a cattle farm until it became a football. It's probably my favorite thing I've read so far this year.
But did it make the game, Jesse?
The football that they made out of the cow did not make an NFL game. It just got to into warm-ups. Kicker in 2 weeks. I mean, it was for 2 weeks, weeks 4 and 5 of this past year. It was a warm-up ball for a kicker, but it used to be a cow, and they watched it and they followed it. It's great. I can talk for hours about this story. It's great. There's a.
We should have led with this. I don't know why we waited this long. There's
the one plant facility in Ohio where Wilson manufactures all of the footballs, and it's fascinating because they still use old-timey sewing machines from 1895 to make every NFL ball.
Actually, and they have a picture of a woman, probably in her late 60s, sitting there sewing NFL football, and they do this all day long. Hundreds of footballs. Anyways, so they started out the cattle farm. There's like some of them are Ontario cows. So an Ontario cow could have been in the Super Bowl this
Canadian
weekend.
Footballs.
Yeah, technically a Canadian football. But yeah, so there's a bunch of cattle ranches around the U.S. and North America where they get all these cows, and then they get slaughtered, obviously, and then they go to a leather plant, and there's only one leather plant that they kind of trust, Wilson trusts to do the footballs, and they become sheets of leather. And then the sheets of leather go to the manufacturing place where they turn into footballs. And then once they're there and they're turned into footballs, they inspect them. And it's either going to be a game ball, a practice ball, or a retail ball. So an authentic retail ball is, say you go to Canadian Tire and you buy an NFL football. That never had a chance of being in a game. It's not an authentic ball. No ball is technically authentic unless it's actually played in a game, because there are certain standards of the perforation of the little dots that a football needs to be at to get into an NFL game. So if you buy an authentic ball, it's not an authentic ball because it wasn't in a game.
So you need to buy a game-used ball.
So you would need to get a ball that's been played with. Anyways, so there's a lot that goes into after a team gets a ball. They some teams they have like their step process to mold the ball into becoming a game ball. So the Bengals have like a 3-hour process that they take every ball they get shipped to from the NFL, and they turn this ball into a game ball that they want to use. Side note.
This is the silliest goddamn thing.
Side note about the other balls used. Kickers. Whenever a ball is being kicked, it's a completely different ball that's being played with for the rest of the game.
That seems... Oh, for that play.
So for every kicking play, it's a different ball. It's the referees are sent balls before the game to their hotel, and the 12 balls that they're sent before the game to their hotel are used for kicking only during the games.
Why?
Because they're more flat. Like, and they're and then teams in the late 90s used to manipulate balls all the time. That's why Deflategate wasn't a big thing, because teams used to do this all the time. They used to take balls and put them in dryers so they're a little spongier so they can go farther. So they took away the responsibility of the teams to hold on to these balls. So the referees hold on to the kicking balls so teams don't manipulate them. So the referees bring those balls to the game, they give them to the teams like an hour before the game, then they use them for kicking. But then they're different for the ones that the quarterbacks actually are handling.
How long is this article?
It's a couple thousand words, I think. I don't know how many words it is, but it's fascinating. I think I wasted everybody's time.
I've just been listening. I have nothing to add.
Do you have any questions about how a cow becomes an NFL football?
I don't want to get into the specifics. I would prefer not to get into the specifics, but the article's there if you want to read it.
Monday and Thursdays are slaughter days.
What? Oh, I didn't need to know that.
This is where I want to end. This is my nope. Anyway, Jesse Blake, everyone. Actually, Sports Illustrated, everyone.
Sports Illustrated. I did nothing. I just read.
All right.
Super Blake.
We have to go.
We'll work on it.
We have to go. But thank you for listening to the show. We're all a little tired. Mm-hmm. We actually had a crazy week, eh?
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll have more of these.
Okay, Dad. Thanks. That's such a dad comment. Oh, no, let's go
dwell
working
on
hard.
our crazy week.
I was so tired last night. Anyway, thanks so much for listening. We love you.
They used to make footballs out of pig bladder. That's why they're called pigskin. But now they make them out of cows. So we should call them cow
You know why
skins.
Toronto's called Hogtown? Because every Saturday...
Because once a pig was mayor, and he ruled for 5 terms.
No.
His name was Sir Pigham Mayor.
Nope.
Mayor Pigham.
Nope. They used to get when the streets were not paved, farmers used to take their pigs into town on Saturday. So if you wanted to buy a pig, they'd actually drive them down Yonge Street. And they would tear up
drive pigs down.
Well, driving. They wouldn't actually drive, but like drive them, as in like herd them
down Yonge Street. Oh wow,
that's why it's called Hogtown.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Used to be pig farms up above Carlton. What blanket is that, and why are you having that on your body?
I wouldn't touch that.
I wouldn't touch that, man.
It's too late.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time. I don't know when our next show is because Steve's got stuff happening. But we love you and thank you for listening.
Go Patriots!
And Jesse, cheers for the winner.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Pantego Pizza. Order at Pantego.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.